Live from the capital city, Carolina News brings you your news first, with breaking news and in-depth reporting. Up-to-the-minute weather, and all your sports news and highlights. It's all here, now, on Carolina News.
This is the scene across the Midlands right now. Heavy winds and rains are pounding the area, and flash flood warnings are in effect until 8 o'clock this evening. Good afternoon and welcome to Carolina News. I'm Jada Williams.
And thanks for joining us. I'm Eric Cirillo.
Rains continue to drench the capital city as powerful storms move through the south, and it doesn't look like it's slowing up anytime soon this evening. For more on what you can expect tonight, let's take it to our weather reporter, Parker King, who's live in the Kennedy Greenhouse. Parker?
Well, that's right, Eric and Jada. As we've all been looking out. That's right, Eric and Jada. We've all been looking out the window all day waiting to see when is the rain going to fall. Well, as you can see behind me, it has started. It has started to thunder and you can see lightning. If we'll go ahead and take a look at the radar, there is a reports of a tornado spotted in Batesburg and Leesville and reports of 3-inch hail. Everything you see in red, those are tornado warnings for most of the Midlands, and there's also a tornado watch in Lexington County. I'll continue to keep you guys updated and follow these storms, and I'll give you the complete forecast coming up later on. Back to you in the studio.
A woman was gunned down in the streets of North Columbia last night. Our reporter Brandon Knapp has the latest.
Last night, a woman was shot and killed somewhere along the 5700 block of Coon Road. I'm standing here now with a church to my left, a crematorium to my right, and another church behind me. I talked to neighbors about what it's like to have a shooting so close to home.
Well, we got so much walking traffic through here, and people just take the shortcut over to North Main. A lot of drugs, a lot of violence. So I'm used to it. I've lived here since '74, so I'm kind of used to it.
Okay. Rump says that the local violence doesn't scare him.
I tell you, I got my own gun.
Oh.
So I'm not a scary person.
Okay. Police have released few details about the shooting, but if you have any information, you're encouraged to call 1-888-CRIME-SC. Brandon Knapp, Carolina News.
The police are remaining quiet on this story for now, but we'll keep you updated with any new updates as they become available.
A study at the Medical University of South Carolina shows that African American women in the Gullah community are more likely to develop the disease lupus. Our Carolina News reporter Danielle Williams traveled to Charleston to find out more.
Of pictures of her. I'm Tanya Jones. I'm the mother of Shelby Jones. Shelby was a lupus patient. Shelby was diagnosed with lupus approximately 3 weeks before her 18th birthday.
Shelby Jones was an honors student majoring in nursing at the University of South Carolina. In her sophomore year, she voluntarily withdrew from school due to lupus-related complications.
She said, "Mom, just not feeling well." And she said, I don't feel like I can really focus and have the energy for school right now, so, I've decided I'm going to take some time off.
But Shelby never made it back to school.
It was Tuesday, September 30th. It was approximately 11. It was between 11 and 12, and Shelby had a conversation with me, and I went over to sit with her at the bed and touch her, and she just, she took her last breaths.
Shelby died of lupus at the age of 19. Lupus is an autoimmune disease in which the body's immune system attacks healthy body tissue. But what isn't mistaken by doctors is that lupus impacts the Gullah community very heavily.
Gullah African Americans seem to have a higher prevalence than you would expect for lupus.
About 1 in every 200 African American women, particularly in the Gullah community, will develop lupus in her lifetime.
You could either hear that number and think, oh, it's rare, but we hear that number and think, my goodness, that's way too many people.
In a recent investigation by Dr. Kamen's team at MUSC, it was revealed lupus is rare in West Africa, where the gullah originated, which means the disease is not purely genetic as once believed.
You would think if it was like purely genetic, that you would see lupus also in Sierra Leone, where the genetics are so shared, but you don't see lupus at all there, which really makes us think that it's something environmental.
Theories that doctors believe contribute to this chronic disease in the area include dieting and commonly used chemicals that are not used in other parts of the world.
Maybe we can make a breakthrough by working with the community here. Since they do have a lot of community members affected by lupus, they've been very engaged in the research.
Through our journey with lupus, it wasn't that long, but it seemed like an eternity as we went through the process. Didn't seem as if there was much information.
But she is hopeful that researchers will find out more information about lupus so they can save the lives of others who suffer with this disease. Danielle Williams, Carolina News.
MUSC is currently enrolling patients, family members of patients, and unrelated community members from all Gullah communities in an observational study. The main purpose of the study is to find genes and possible factors from the environment that result in the development of lupus.
While the NFL has 32 teams, players always seem to be bonded to one as their favorite. Although few players are on the same team twice, several players always seem to be drawn back to Charlotte and the Carolina Panthers. Carolina News' Haley Anders talked to the Panthers about why players always seem to want to go back to the Tar Heel State.
It feels good to be home. It actually feels like I never left.
Carolina Panther fans rejoiced when Julius Peppers came home.
Now you think of Mario Addison on one edge, you got a Charles Johnson, you got a Pep, you put Pep down in a 3 technique, a 1 technique, you just got better as a defensive front.
Panther fans recognize that voice?
Oh, goodness, dude. You beast, man. You can run, dude.
Eugene Robinson, former player and current Panthers radio broadcaster, came to Charlotte in 2000 to retire from the league. But the Panthers had other plans.
Man, the Carolina Panthers just called you up. You want to play a year? I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll play a year. You want to go ahead and pay me to play a year? Get acclimated to the city, have my kids get back in the whole mix, that whole thing.
Eugene was home.
My reasons for staying here are selfish. I love this place. Man, what? I'm not leaving.
Eugene isn't the only one. Sports Illustrated writer Jonathan Jones says players are lured here because of what Charlotte offers.
Where you have in Charlotte, you have this stadium a mile away. Most of these guys are living in condos and apartments. You can very clearly establish a family here. Great schools, great people. And it's steeped in a lot of diversity, right? I mean, whoever you are, and NFL players come from all walks of lives, you can get a lot of that in Charlotte as opposed to a lot of other places.
But Eugene thinks the reason why players come from all across the nation to Charlotte starts at the top with owner Jerry Richardson.
Mr. Richardson's been building this fabric for a very, very long time, and I come in as one of those little stitches that he kind of weaves in that deal. People play here because there's an atmosphere here in the Carolinas that's conducive to winning, but it's also where you go in that locker room and it's like an instant brotherhood.
Just like coming home. From Charlotte, Haley Anders, Carolina News.
While many NFL players may be looking to move to Charlotte, college players are constantly working to make the jump to the big leagues. But what happens when they fall short? Eric Cirillo went inside the life of former college football players who had dreams of making it big, but fell short, and how they were prepared for life after sports.
I did this piece because it's one of the cartoons from my childhood, Samurai Jack. They just brought this show back.
For Garrison Gist, art has always been part of his career path, be it on canvas or on the football field. Gist was fullback and running back for the Gamecocks during his time at the University of South Carolina, but had aspirations that went beyond the turf.
I want to get into like the museum and gallery business.
But tackling those goals was trying at times during his college career.
It sucks sometimes when you got 6 a.m. workouts and then you got an 8 a.m. class, so you're trying not to fall asleep in class, or You got class all day and then meetings and then stuff like that.
Stuff that former athletes know all too well. Meet Joe Weidman, an associate at the Hendrick Gardner Law Firm in Columbia and former linebacker at Presbyterian College who had dreams of making it to the NFL.
Opportunities came, we had scouts come in, and just at a certain point I was like, I might actually have a chance. And that's when I really, started to work hard towards actually trying to be able to take it to the next level.
That opportunity came when Weidman got a chance to work out for the Buffalo Bills, but it didn't work out.
No, didn't work out, man. And
the percentage of college football players that make it to the NFL is less than 2%. So what do the other 98% do when the bright lights finally go off? Erica Nelson is the Director of Life Skills and Community Outreach at the University of South Carolina, and she works with the athletes to prepare them for life after sports.
As they come in, we have an orientation for them. We have additional programming that goes on throughout their 4 years here at USC, and certainly getting into their senior year, we have a networking seminar where we're pairing them with professionals working in the fields they aspire to work in, whether that's related to their major or just an interest that they have.
And what does she try to instill in the athletes during their time in school?
The lights are going to go off, the clock is going to hit zero, and the career is going to be over, and what have you done to prepare yourself for that time?
Preparing now in order to succeed later.
Even if you make it, it's going to end at some point. So what do you have to fall back on?
It's only going to limit you as much as you allow it to, because if you're truly invested in trying to engage in a certain career, you're going to go out, you're going to find an internship and do what you need to do to present yourself with those opportunities you need. So,
Garrison Gist is currently a substitute teacher at Northwestern High School in Rock Hill, but is working to make the transition to get into the museum and gallery industry. Joe Weidman is working towards getting his license to practice law in South Carolina.
You know, it was great to see visiting with both of them and hearing their stories and hearing what they went through. It was really telling to hear what they went through and how they prepared themselves in case football didn't work out. I mean, less than 2% make it, so got to have something to fall back on.
And it's really great that they both knew what to do with their lives going ahead. They both had special skills and talents outside of the football field.
Absolutely. It was, it was a great story. It was a great time. But still to come this afternoon on Carolina News, a controversial new bill with only single-digit approval rating has been approved by both Congress and the President. Find out what's in the law straight ahead.